So I was going to do a retune today, and I figured, well, instead of just guessing roughly where to put the mics, I'm going to try an exact ear placement. So I bent these wires into place, just touching the tips of my ears. So I'll be using those positionings to getting the exact left and right balances and EQs and exact time alignment and phase compensations. I'm just creating a little frame here to put the microphones in. I'll be lining their tips up with this panel, and the backs of the mics will be supported back there. It's getting pretty funky. Now I'm just a guy with an idea and a plan, so I'm just going to try these two, and I'm running out of mounting space up here, but I have another cunning plan. I'm going to use the seat adjustment just to get the tips closer to the hearing plane and go from there. That's roughly how I've got it right now. I can push this forward, past, or behind as needed. So this will be a different kind of tune. I'm normally tuning 4 microphones to one ear, so this will just be a quick tune. Here's my Intel i7. Here's my sound card. And there are the 4 mic inputs. I've color coded them with different tapes. I'll just be putting it through the back door and connecting each one. To measure phase, you need a reference signal, and this is coming from the back output to the sound card, which is underneath the seat in the back. I'm going to quickly film just turning on one microphone, experience the tedious setup. So here I have the phase tracking and drifting into negative territory, then wrapping it, then keep drifting up, and then steeper and steeper. So that's typically describing it's got a pretty nice phase, but not quite aligned to how we want to read the graph, which is as linear as possible. So I'm reducing the delay time here until that line falls flatter. So here we go, down, 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 and as you can see, I'm coming up with a pretty flat phase response from my last tuning with a few irregularities. So I don't know which mic this is. I don't know if it's a left ear or right ear at the moment. And here you can see the ultra frequencies. Where are we? 11k to 20k are totally out of phase at the moment. And we can work on that later. So if you were to try to tune a car's phase perfectly with all the phase correction wizardry I have in VST land, using one microphone, it's quite hard to know whether you should correct this 30-degree phase and leave that minus 30 degrees. So that's why we have more than one microphone. And I'll put in the second microphone here. Yeah, so now this other trace is turned up, thank goodness. And that's going up, that's going down. just to illustrate my point. Now it's going too far. So these two microphones here are showing me a different amount here. Instead of plus 30, it's like right on 0, etc, etc. These two are separated, and there's all hunky-dory, showing the same thing. So it's as soon as you get into this upper mids, especially in a car cabin, you get lots of inconsistencies. I'll turn on the third mic. Hopefully we'll get some agreement. Here we go. So third trace is in. Taking off time on the delay for that mic. So that's too far. Watching it go up again. Yeah, so this could be, well, one of these three is not on the same side. So that could be accounting for this difference here. But yeah, once I work out which mic's which, I'll name them correctly, and just for the hell of it, I'll turn on this fourth mic. Take some time off, and just that'll do. Now, just out of curiosity, I'll show you what these all ones are down here. This is just microphones raw average, and here you can already see cleaner magnitude when you average the 4 mics. So it's already discarding this height and this low. We're just looking for the average. So here we have quite a nice average phase. So that's why I'm gonna maybe try one day 6 mics, but I think 4 is a pretty good number. As you can see, it's turned each of these 4 bits of spaghetti into a nice readable phase alignment. So I'm just gonna try and get that super tweeter in time. And what I normally do is just turn off the bands close by. So I've just turned off this normal tweeter, turned off a 3-inch, and it's just the super tweeter playing. I'll go to its delay setting. This is kind of looking flatter, but this is way out, so I'm going to go the other way. Now that goes up here. These two are looking flatter. Yeah, this is a tough one. This is why 4 mics are better for high frequency. Yeah, I'll probably just keep this one in time because it's in the crossover to the tweeter. I'll turn back on the tweeter. The tweeter's a little bit out of time. Remember, I'm using a reference that has made this blue line, so the tweeter does need timing adjustment for the normal tweeter. Wrong way. I've got this bit right, but this bit's dipping. Sometimes you can just keep going. See what happens to that. Too far. Still too far. Half that chunk back. See that? And that's overcorrected again. Just trying to get this fine tuned. There's a lot of delay in my laptop session. So I'll just try and get this bit flat. Here we go, got something now. 7.18 milliseconds. As you can see, I've made some pretty flat linear phase traces, even though my magnitude looks a bit rough. That all gets fixed in the mix. So there's my treble phase for my right. Quickly pan to the left, turn off my right microphones, turn on my left microphones. And a bit of a separation there on the super tweeter, but they're both linear, so I'm just going to call that done. And there's a bit of a runaway there at 2k to 1k, but that's because it's on the opposite side of the cabin, and instead of chasing them, you just kind of look at the trend. I'm talking about here, just in case you're not looking, phase goes down, wraps a few times. The soft dome 2.5 inch on the left. See, if I flip the phase on that channel, you'll see it trends at the top, 180 out of phase, flip the phase back, trends to the middle. So I think it's pretty linear, and that's just a measurement anomaly. I did have a mic technique for that where I had 2 at the headrest and 2 on their way towards the source, just so I could look for anomaly areas where there's other 2 mics. So just to sum up, this was right side before, tuning done a week or so ago, retuned with the 2 mic placement today. Left side before, which looked pretty nice, left side after, but almost the same. And so that congruity between the 2 afters, nice noise. And so I'll just give that a listen. There's been no magnitude work, but we should get deeper staging if I sit in that exact spot. Here we go. So the first thing I'm finding, listening to the new phase tuning from the ears, using the new rig, is mainly I cleaned up a lot of this low mid centering. But here's the old tune. The vocals are still front, but that bass line's just a little bit skewed like this. I'll go back to and now it doesn't feel like my ears are fighting each other for that bass center. Now the old one, just feel like there's a little, I know it's hard to feel, especially on the video. It's a very mono sounding song, so it's a good. Alright, so I've done a little bit more listening to this ear specific phase tuning from actually measured ear positions, and it's helping a lot with the separation and keeping mid-level instruments placed further back in the stage. So in the old tuning, which was more generally microphone just guessed towards the headrest, congos and BV vocals would kind of be skewed this way and that way, and you couldn't really place them like in the stage. So here's what I mean. So there's a saxophone going off in mid left. The vocals are quite panned mid left right, but the background instruments, you can hear the piano comping and the congos all hard in the back line. With the old tuning, more general tuning, I just clicked it there. The piano was kind of out a bit, and the vocals kind of spaghettied in to the back line, and the back line was kind of ripped out, and you couldn't really place each of the congo hits